Hi, Andy XL back with another NFXL podcast live from my sick bed. So that's why I'm dressing gowned up, still battling on to give you the information you require. And this one's looking at the 2026 NFL draft again, and this time at inside linebacker and safety classes. And this is the October update for that. I've been going through each position, giving you an October update. So this is the one for inside linebackers and safeties. And I'll start with the inside linebackers and the round one guys, and jumping up from eighth in my pre-season list to the new number one is somebody who's just had an outstanding start to the season, Arvell Reese, a junior at Ohio State. Um, he's an excellent pass defender and pass rusher, and he's perfectly decent against the run too. At 6'4", he has the size to cover big receivers and plays inside linebacker like a safety. So could have valuable scheme versatility that NFL teams like to have. One knock on him might be a lack of change of direction against smaller, niftier running backs and wide receivers. Now that's what I said about him pre-season, but he's up 7 spots after starting the season with no fewer than 38 tackles and 4.5 sacks. Reese is becoming an elite candidate in 2025. He's a real presence for the Buckeyes on that awesome defense they've got this season, and timing his moves through opposing O-lines perfectly, Reese has risen to be the best inside linebacker in this class, and in doing so got into mid-round one draft territory for me. So dropping one to number two is Anthony Hill, is a junior at Texas. Pre-season, I said that Hill built on a highly promising freshman year to put up those impressive numbers of 113 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 17 tackles for loss, 8 sacks and a pick. He did all that as a sophomore at 6'3", 235 pounds with a 4.5 40. The size and athleticism to be, he has the size and athleticism to be an elite draft prospect. He has everything there that you need. He looks like the type that can do it all, but one area that could be worked upon in his coverage work, particularly against talented receiving backs. I said he could even get into the top half of round one with another strong season in 2025. However, his numbers are down on last season, but they're still good. And whilst he drops below Reese, he's still on course for a round one selection. Another one dropping down one place due to Reese's rise is CJ Allen, the junior at Georgia. Allen is superb. This is what I said about him pre-season. Allen is superb as a run defending linebacker. He is a ferocious tackler with great closing speed, but his coverage work needs to improve if he's to lock down a round one draft pick. Orange just to keep me going. But his natural and instinctive work as a blitzer and against the run will not have him waiting long to get picked, assuming he puts up another strong season in 2025. As I said, he's dropped one place despite a 46 tackle and 3 sack start to the season. So he's doing fine and he's doing what he needs to do to stay in round one for sure, but Arvell Reese has just moved past him. On to the round two guys, and still fourth overall in my list is Sonny Styles, another Ohio State guy, senior. Had a tremendous 2024 and will look to repeat that to earn a round two or even round one pick. He's probably on the borderline at the moment. Has all the physical tools to be a top-notch inside linebacker stroke safety. He's one of those hybrid types, but has not progressed technically as he might have been expected to. But if he can show signs of that development in 2025, his upside is great, and that could see him push for an earlier selection than round two. And Styles, the tackling machine, is continuing to be another strong part of the Buckeyes' tremendous defense, which keeps him close to getting into round one. Dropping 2 spots to 5 is Deontay Lawson, the senior at Alabama. Lawson has shown great leadership and football intelligence as a defensive leader for Bama. His cerebral excellence, allied to great technique as a tackler and in pass coverage, mark him as a potentially great man to have as a potential long-term on-field general for an NFL team. One issue he will need to reassure NFL scouts on his ability to stay healthy. He's suffered injuries in 3 of his 4 seasons at Bama and could really do with playing the whole of the 25 season to prove himself in that regard. Now, he's dropped 2 spots in this list despite a decent start with 34 tackles, and that's indicative of how strong this class looks. Excuse me, rather than him doing anything wrong. Right, we'll go into round three after another sip of orange juice to keep my throat going. And at five, well, it was five pre-season. He's now down to six. Is Harold Perkins, the senior at LSU. Though, so he was the number one safe sort of inside linebacker. Sorry, number one inside linebacker until he got hurt midway through last season. So he's kind of trying to come back from that. He's down one into round three, despite recording 28 tackles and 2 sacks so far this season. So he's on his way back from an injury. And once again, this shows how strong this class is. But Perkins is still good enough to get back into round two. If his play merits it, he needs to show he's fully back from that injury. Um, but his fate might depend on how many NFL teams look for an early for an inside linebacker come draft time. 7 pre-season, and I'm just working out where he is now. 4, 5, 6, still at 7. Tarian York Jr. at Texas A&M. Pre-season, I said about him, York's tackling stats stand out, and he is another that has displayed on-field leadership skills. And with inside linebackers often being those on-field generals of defensive unit, is a fine prospect in that regard. He's great against the run and does some good work as a pass rusher, but his coverage work needs to improve if he's to be any more than the round 3 selection. That's what I said pre-season. So far, he's had 39 tackles, which got him off to a good start. But he's enough of suffering as other put in exceptional performances. He's definitely good enough to get a day 2 pick, though. Down 2 spots to 8 from 6 pre-season is Wick Weeks, another inside linebacker at LSU, a junior. In the absence of Harold Perkins last season, Weeks really stood up to be counted for LSU. He had phenomenal tackling stats to show just how aggressive and dominant he can be, but some offensive coordinators have exploited that aggressive nature by tempting him in and then going in a different direction. His solo skills are there for all to see, but he needs to learn how to use those skills as part of a cohesive unit to make up into a high-quality NFL player. So he's dropped 2 spaces this year. Modest returns compared to the others, 29 tackles and a sack. He was going to need to do better than that if he wants to climb back up this class. One more sip before I go to the last guy I've got on this list. He's a new addition. And it creeping into round 3 as a result. Is Jake Golday, a senior at Cincinnati. He's made a great start to the season with 56 tackles and 3 sacks in his first 6 games as a senior. And like I say, that's got him into round 3 potential and number 9 on my list. And them are 9 inside linebackers. So, another quick drink. It's something worse than anything else, but I'll keep going. Trojan that I am. Safeties. So, number 1 is still number 1, and it might be the number 1 overall. And when was the last time we thought that about a safety? Caleb Downs Jr., guess what? Ohio State. Brother of the Indianapolis Colts receiver. He made the unusual transfer from Alabama to Ohio State after his freshman year and has put up elite level numbers for both top schools across 2 seasons. He has some of the traits of Malachi Starks, who was similarly rated prior, well, not as high rated as Downs is. But that means he goes into this season as top-notch safety. His only real issue is the tendency to read a quarterback's eyes and goes for the big play interception rather than track receivers. Now, that's being really harsh, if I'm honest. He may learn from those errors, and I'm certain he looks like he is. And if he does so, he'll go into the 26th draft as one of, if not the best players in this draft class. He probably is the best player right now. He certainly could be the highest drafted safety in this decade. Kyle Hamilton went at 14 in 2022, which shows you just how good Downs is likely to be. And this season, he's the best player on a superb Ohio State defense, whose natural instincts back up his outstanding physical abilities. Before he came on the scene, it seemed unimaginable that a safety could be the first overall pick in a draft. But he's simply that good. He probably should be. Now, quarterbacks always tend to go too early. But for me, Downs is clearly the best player in this draft right now. And he's also the only safety at round one level for me at the moment. So that should make his value even higher. In round two and dropping into round two, but still second on my list is Dylan Thieneman, the junior at Oregon. Now, exceptional speed is what Thieneman has, and he'll need an excellent season with the Ducks to secure a round one pick. But he's dropped into round two. He's still playing well. It's just that other players at other positions have done really well at the start of the season. So safeties will tend to suffer in that regard, and he has. Number three, and still number three, and still in round two, Kamari Ramsey, the junior at USC. Pre-season, I said about him he could have done well in the 2020 draft, but opted for another season with the Trojans. If he has another good campaign for them, it will likely get him into day two of the 2026 draft. Quiet start though, still looks a high quality prospect in pass coverage, but it's not at the same level against the run and has issues with his tackling technique too. Still a good round two prospect, but vulnerable to others moving past him if he does not show him signs of improvement in those weaker areas. And these are the guys that could challenge him. And the new names coming into the list is first one is AJ Horsey at LSU. He jumps into my list at 4, having had 38 tackles and a pick already this season. What he lacks in speed and physical size, he makes up for in pass coverage by displaying great savvy and reaction to what may be about to happen. Not quite as strong against the run, which may again be down to lack of size and speed. That could hurt him in scouts' eyes come the combine season, but round two possible on his current levels of play is how I see Horsey. Right, that rounds out round two. And into round three, another new name, Genesis Smith, a junior at Arizona. Very similar stats to Horsey, gets him into this list at 5, and backing up a strong sophomore season in doing so. Shows great instincts to track runners and get in passing lanes, then great tackling technique to finish the job off. Top end of round 3 right now, but could continue to rise if he finishes this season as well as he has started it. And yet another new name from pre-season, a junior at Indiana by the name of Amari Ferrell. 21 tackles and 3 picks get him into my list at 6. He's playing well on a team that is playing well and getting noticed by scouts as a result. Like Smith, solidly in round 3 right now and could go higher. And those three have pushed people down the list, like Michael Taaffe, the senior at Texas. He's down one spot, but has made a good start with 41 tackles and a pick this season. And the other one dropping down the list is Keon Sabb, a junior at Alabama. Down 3 spots after a quiet start. And like I say, with the likes of Horsey, Smith and Ferrell on the up, Sabb needs to do more to get himself back up this list and avoid maybe even dropping out of day 2 of the draft. Then I'll look at some more just outside of round 3, but still on the radar. Emmanuel McNeil Warren at Toledo, ninth on my list at the moment with 32 tackles, a pick 6 and 3 forced fumbles to his name this season. Another who could continue to climb draft boards if he continues to show up well. So from a small school, but keep an eye on him. Dropping down into round 4 is Rod Moore, the senior at Michigan. Trying to come back after a serious ACL injury, but he's done virtually nothing in 3 appearances this season. So he needs to show he's got something near recovery from that ACL injury. Otherwise, he's going to drop off the radar completely. Another new name, Zachy Wheatley at Penn State. A real speedy ball hawker with great tackling abilities for his size. Comes into my list at 11 and could be a 3rd round pick in the making. He's another hybrid inside linebacker safety type. Got 39 tackles already this season. One final drink before the last name. That's Tal Johnson, the senior at Utah. He's down 7 on my list from 5 and out of day 2 after a quietest start to the season for the Utes. Nowhere near his outstanding 2024 numbers right now, and that's costing him dearly in terms of his draft stock. So in just under in a quarter of an hour, with the odd cough thrown in for free, that's my look at inside linebackers and safeties as an October update. So one more group to do because I've not got on special teamers yet. I'll look at them closer we get to the draft. But just the cornerbacks to look at now, and I'll come back with that sometime in the next week. All right, then. Hope you found that useful, and see you soon.